Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. Well, first and foremost, I want to start and say today is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day, and I want to give thanks on this beautiful now moment, this present moment, and really absorb how awesome this present moment is because you are what you choose to be. That is the first and foremost thing that one must really realize when you begin to live and encompass the present moment. When you begin to be in the present moment, you are what you choose to be in that present moment. So I choose to be what this present moment really represents itself to be to me. And this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful moment, a beautiful, beautiful day. And it feels amazing. I feel amazing. And I am so grateful to be in this space as well as honored. And I hope you feel the same way too. Right? I just had this song. I was singing this song yesterday. Is as I remember as a kid, a Mr. Rogers song. It's such a good feeling to know you're alive. It's such a happy feeling to know you're alive. And I don't even know if those are the words. This is the second time that I've sung this song. I sung it on this on the IG live that I did yesterday, and it just keeps coming up again. And I want to make sure that this thing is working. I hope that it is. My mic. It just keep coming up again, and I'm like, wow, it's really a feel good song. And it just came up in my mind again to sing again. But I really do feel amazing, and I hope that you guys feel amazing too. Well, today's topic is about the confidence of expanded awareness, right? And the reason why I'm speaking about the confidence of expanded awareness is because something came up today as I was listening to a video that came up on my YouTube, and it was in reference to, someone speaking uh, through religion, through the experience of religion, about someone that was committing adultery, and it was just a really profound conversation that they were having about someone that was committing adultery, and it was a very deep conversation. And so I was listening to the conversation and different things of that nature. And of course, there was no judgment to be had in terms of their, perception of how they understood their reality, and what they are choosing. And so I was just listening to how they were truly convicted by the belief. And being that I grew up as the granddaughter of a Baptist minister, I'm so very well, I understand the whole dynamic of everything that was being said in that dialogue. And so I was just listening and different things of that nature, and just completely understanding everything that was being said. And, once upon a time, I won't say that I agreed or disagreed, even growing up in the religion aspect about adultery. I never was really 100% on board in theory about everything that was said in religion. But, growing up in a household, you go along with the flow of it, but you're not really 100% on board with everything that religion, you know, offered, because your somatic instincts within oneself, especially if your sovereign state is still somewhat halfway beaconing, you're not going to agree with everything in its in your true state, because there's a knowing deep down inside, but you still with the parenting and different things of that nature, you still go along with some of the things and some of the aspects, but I was never really 100% on board with all of those things. But I was respectful, right? I was respectful to the fact that I respected my grandparents, I respected the household, and I was even practicing. Come to think of it, I was even practicing a neutral state, even back then during those times. Just looking back, so but I was listening to it. But I just wanted to say, when you get into this position of expanded awareness, and you're hearing being saying, they're very convicted about how their belief systems and different things of that nature. You honor the consciousness to that to which one is expressing without judgment. Although that same consciousness may judge you, right? Because remember, their nervous system is going to defend the reality, especially if they're in survival. They may see your aspect of self or the consciousness that you're in. They may see your consciousness as a threat to their reality, to their chosen expression, right? Especially if it's on a survival consciousness, right? So, and you, as the expanded awareness of consciousness that is no longer in survival threat, um, you're going to understand it and have compassion, and you're not going to judge that aspect of consciousness. You're going to understand their state, but they may not understand your state, and that's okay. And it's not for us to get into any type of debate or anything, because one of the greatest things about where the positioning that we are in, we're in a non-confrontational state of being, because we understand where they're choosing to be, although they may not understand where we have chosen to be. Okay, and that's what expanded awareness affords us the ability. And it may seem a little bit one-sidedness, but wholeness affords us that opportunity to see the bigger picture in wholeness, where when one is operating from a fractal state of being, right? That changes the dynamic of how the perception, because they're only perceiving a fraction of self, where we're able to now encompass the whole of self. So this is why this channel is more encompasses the essence of wholeness and no longer fragmentation. Okay, because we get to see the wholeness of self, and no longer the fragmented version of the perception of self. Okay, so the compassion is far much more greater, and it's far much more grander, and it's far much more encompasses the essence of unconditional love. Now, that is a chosen state to be in terms of unconditional love, because you can also have a neutral state where it's not love, it's not nothing, you're just neutral about the whole essence. But if you do decide to have that essence of unconditional love, that's just a bonus, to be in that state. And that's what I choose to be in my expanded essence of consciousness, is just to have this encompasses of unconditional love, to understand the position, the chosen reality that they are in, and that's where that is. And unconditional love is still is an essence of neutrality as well. Okay, because you don't have any condition as to where they are choosing to be. Okay, so that is still somewhat an essence of neutrality too as well. You're neutral about where they are choosing to be as well. So that's still synonymous to unconditional love. But when in the story that I was listening to, they were heavily convicted about this person is wrong about committing adultery and different things of that nature. And so where that falls into in the conditioning, it is a limited reality, right? And so they are practicing consciousness is practicing still the essence of limitation. And so that still makes it a reality that is being chosen. And it's not to say that they are wrong in that chosen reality. And this is where, when you get into the expanded reality, they may see you from a limited state. They may see you as wrong, because this is where right and wrong, in an extreme expression of polarity exists. This is where the stronghold of the polarization of reality energetically resides. And so, yes, there is the reality of right and wrong that is very much permeating in that essence of consciousness, and it's very real. It's very real in that reality. And so, therefore, yes, so it's going to be real. But you now in wholeness understands that that aspect in our reality has somewhat relaxed, somewhat dissolved. And we're not saying that it's not true, but we're saying that for that essences of consciousness, it's true for that essence of consciousness expressed, right? And we're not taking away the validity of how that essence of consciousness is choosing to express in that vibrational state of reality. And so we have compassion for it. And we don't have any judgment, although that essence of consciousness may have judgment for how we perceive. So if you were ever to be faced upon, any type of, conversation that comes into your commencement, the way to kind of handle that situation is not to handle it at all. It's just to be neutral about it, or you can just, you understand it. I don't have a conversation about it. I'm not here to tell anybody that aspect of how they see the reality. I'm not here to give them a debate about it, because the positioning in expanded awareness, you understand that reality is very real. And if you go in and try to impose your expanded awareness that they're not vibrationally attuned to even have, a fathom of being able to comprehend, vibrationally, energetically, it's futile. It's futile, and it's going to do is create friction, right? It's going to create friction. So they won't be able to hear you. It's like they will not be able to hear you because their nervous system is going to defend the reality that they have chosen, right? So I just wanted to put that out there for us to have the integrity of understanding. That's why a lot of times when we see certain dynamics transpire, we can have conversations to people that are attuned to the vibration of where we can actually have these particular types of conversations, where I could probably mention something, and someone with that has an expanded awareness may understand what it is that I am saying, because they're somewhat in proclamation of the same vibrational sense of essence or coherence to understand the expanded sense of awareness, right? They are aware that yes, this is actually possible, because we're in the same attunement of coherence to understand these same probabilities. But when someone is operating from a limited construct and they're attuned to a fixed reality, it's not going to land properly. And it can create friction, and they're going to defend that reality. And it doesn't, and then they're going to look at you like you're all kind of crazy. And it doesn't, and if with you having an expanded awareness, allow them to have the reality that they have chosen, with you understanding that they have chosen that reality to experience that reality in that way. And when they are ready to expand their reality and accommodate their nervous system enough so that when they are ready to have an expanded reality, they can begin to attune their nervous system to be receptive of an expanded reality, right? So that their nervous system can say, okay, this is safe enough for me to explore this expanded reality without feeling like it is a threat to the reality that is no longer chosen. Because remember, they got to be open enough to be able to perceive, an open space of other alternate realities to that to which have been chosen. Because if they're still operating from a limited perspective and they're not opening up to other realities that also exist, they're not gonna. Your reality is going to be strange and unusual, because they're going to be like, what in the mitigated gall are you talking about? This is so not the norm. It's going to be crazy. It's like, have you lost your ever loving mind? Yeah, you gonna be, straight jacket bound. It's like, it's not going to make any sense, because they have signed up for the limited reality, the external reality, the fragmented reality, and all that encompasses the limited version of a fragmented experience. And their nervous system is attuned to anything that threatens that chosen reality. So anything outside of that limited perspective, that is going to be deemed as a threat, because they are trying to survive that reality. So, the expanded awareness, right, knows that part of it, right? And so, yeah, that is, it's not going to make it. It's not. It doesn't even. It's futile to get into any long diatribe unless they are really open to be receptive. And you'll know, because even when you begin to speak, they'll be quiet. They'll be quiet, but they'll be speaking again. But they'll be quiet, but they won't have any resistance. And they'll want to know more, and they'll be quiet. They won't have any resistance to what it is that you're saying, because they're open to receive, and they're there to attune. But anybody that's trying to defend that reality, you don't want no parts of that. You'll be like, it's okay. I'm not here to alter your state of the reality. And what is a good thing to do when you get into those particular types of conversations? Because a lot of times what happens, sometimes people come in and inquire, and they want to know a little bit about you. They have an interest about you because you seem interesting. And then when they get into that space of yours, and you're nice enough to kind of like get a little bit, give them some information, and then they get a little bit like, oh my God, appalled, and they, for whatever motives that they are trying to get into your world, and you oblige, and you realize what it is. The safest thing to do is to just say, you know what, I'm not here to change your world, and your world is your world, your chosen reality, and you're correct for how you see it. I agree with how you are choosing to experience your reality, because it's your choice. It's your choice. And if they try to convince you to be convinced that their reality is the truth, the true reality, you can just say it is your truth, right? And how you choose to, express your reality, that's your choice. And I'm just going to stay in my lane, and you stay in your lane, and we both can be happy with what we decide to do for ourselves. I'm happy over here, you're happy over there. And the ultimate thing is that we are both happy choosing how we want to experience our lives. And that's the most important thing, is that we're both happy in terms of how we are experiencing our life. And that's the end of that. You just neutralize the situation, and you walk away peacefully. You don't have to get into no long diatribe. Once you try to see that they're trying to convince you to come along in their world, because they feel that their world is the safer world, because they want to defend that reality, because they're still in survival. Even though they initiated it with you, but they're trying to justify their reality, and that's probably the probable cause as to why they initiated it with you. So that's what sometimes survival reality does. They're curious about what's home, because home is the wholeness of self. Dorothy, I want to go home. Home is the whole the sovereign state, the wholeness of self. So it's always going to be that little oomph that is there, that's curious to have a little taste of what that feels like. But then the ego, the dominant self, or how it the dominant frequency is going to always be there present until the sovereign self comes online fully and is ready to go back home. And once the sovereign frequency comes online fully, then it is what it is. Okay, there's no turning back from that. When the sovereign frequency comes online, that's the end of that story. But I just wanted to come on here to give my my take on how to handle that particular situation when you hear an essence of the self moving in that dynamic and talking about adultery, religion, and different things of that nature, and they're completely convicted by it, and they're so fully convicted by it in that reality. It's okay, because you, as an expanded consciousness, you are aware that that's their chosen reality. It's okay. You don't have to convince anybody otherwise. And if they come into your territory, they may hear a conversation. And they be like, oh, And sometimes you might be a repel. Most of the times, the beings that we are, we repel beings like those. A lot of times they think that we are the devil or something like that. Most of the time, because we're so outside of what they consider is norm. But so we most of the time we are repellent to them because of the frequency differences. But sometimes their curiosity, because like I said, the homeness in us, we do offer that frequency of resonance to the deeper core, and they want to have that feeling of resonance at sometimes, and sometimes it may draw them on so that they can have some sense of remembrance, and they may come just to feel that essence, just as a reminder, and they may come into the territory as uncomfortable as it may be for them, and it may be uncomfortable for you too as well. And just know how to handle yourself in the event you choose to agree to that exchange. But 9 times out of 10, you may not agree with that exchange. You may not even attract those people once your frequency raises high enough to not even be in the vicinity vibrationally to align to those particular types of vibrational states. Me, on the other hand, because I'm choosing to be a bridge, and I have I share fields with beings in that regards. I'm around it a lot. So that's why my next video is going to be extremely about grounding and how important grounding is. But I wanted to talk about this though because I know it is equally important to not have any biases or try to correct anyone that is out there choosing their reality, even if it's in a limited state. And I just wanted to put that out there because I know a lot of times we hear a lot of beings that are out there, and you'll come across sometimes in shared fields, oh, you should be a Christian, oh, you should allow them to say it's okay. You know what I'm saying? They may try to impose their limited states on you, but as an expanded awareness, you know that it's okay. That they're just another part of you in consciousness expressing themselves, and it's okay. It really, truly is. So I just wanted to put that out there so that you guys can have a different perspective in terms of how to handle, events like that. But as I said, this is how I understand my now moment. This is what I am doing for myself. And it's just a perspective to put out there for you to consider. But always be your true self. Always move in the essence of your authenticity, because that's the most important thing, is for you to be true to yourself, true to you. Okay. All right. And once again, if you like what you've heard here, please subscribe. If you're new here and you like what you've heard here, please subscribe. Please comment. And also, please share if you feel that this video will be able to help someone that is in resonance to what we are expressing here today. All right. All right. Thank you so much in kindness. And we will see each other on the next go around. Thank you so much. Talk to you guys later. Later.